Hey, I'm Ron Drotos from keyboardimprov.com and welcome to Piano Myth Busting. Number 1, we're going to look at a different myth about learning piano and bust it up. See how it's just fiction. All these myths about do this, do that. Sure, there are certain things you have to do, right? Not everything's a myth, right? But there's so many things you hear about and you just think you have to do it and they're just myths. It's poof. We let them disappear and then we can fly and really learn how to play. So I have about 35 of these planned so far. I'll probably write down more and add more in the series as I come up with them. If you have something that you have a question about, please leave it in the comments and we'll see if it's a myth or not, right? Maybe we'll make a video about it and help you that way, or I'll just say, hey, try this, I'll respond to them. Or we could help each other out too. If you want to comment on somebody else's video and support them in their learning and their musicality, please do. It's community. We're all in this together, right? So myth number 1, and I get emailed about this maybe once a month. Someone, usually an adult, who is learning how to read music. And I just pulled this up. It's Light of the Seven from Game of Thrones. Beautiful soundtrack. And can I look at, the myth is, they say, do I have to look only at the sheet music? So is it true that I can never look at my hands? Because they've heard, or somebody's told them, you can never look at your hands while you're learning piano and reading music. And that's a complete myth. So let's look at it as an absurdity, reduce it to the absurdity. Let's say you learned how to play this and you never looked at your hands. And you struggle and somehow you learn how to do it and then you memorize it. Okay, well, what are you going to do? It's going to look like you've never looked at the keyboard before. It's going to look pretty foreign to try to play this if you've never looked at your hands. The other thing is, once you memorize it, you do want to look at your hands, or if you're improvising. Where did Vladimir Horowitz look when he was playing? Did he always look up at the sky? That would be pretty impossible to play Chopin or something and never look at your hands, even while you're reading the music, right? So where did this come from? Well, it's actually something that people tell beginners, mostly children, right? And sometimes when we're explaining something to a beginner, or especially a young child, we don't give them the whole picture, right? When we're teaching them how to write letters, we don't say, well, here's how you write an A. And there are 2 versions. There's a capital A and a lowercase a, and you might use it this way, or sometimes it has an accent, or sometimes it's an italic. You don't give the whole picture. It's overwhelming. So you say, this is how you write an A, right? Maybe it's the uppercase A, right? And then later on, they figure out, okay, there's more. And someone says, well, there's also a lowercase, and then it could be a different fonts or different, whatever, different accent or something, depending on the language, right? So we fill in the details later. Somehow the details in this never looking at the keys get lost in the shuffle, and we get, people have been playing for 20 years thinking they can't ever look at the keys. So the real deal is you want to develop some fluidity, right? It's well-meaning, because you don't want to get stuck looking at the keys and have to look, okay, that's a B, so I play it here, and now the next one's F sharp, I look down here. You don't want to be doing that and getting whiplash, right? But the main thing is you want some fluidity. So you get the layout of your hands, and you might get that by always looking at the keys, right? It's in the key of B minor, so maybe I improvise in B minor, and I really get a sense for the layout and how it feels to play some of the basic chords. So I'm not so reliant on looking at the keys. And then I play it and I say, okay, it's a B. And then, okay, I have F sharp and D, and that's a minor 6. This is what it feels like. Oh, that's what it looks like, and it feels like this. So I don't have to look the whole time. Okay? Now I might look quickly, get in a new hand position and look back up. Now I'll look down here and go back. So I think beginners and professionals alike need to, well, professionals already have it, but to develop the ability to be very fluid. We look up there, we look down here, we look up there, look down here. And then when you're improvising or playing from memory, it's not about looking at the music anymore, but it's about looking around. You're playing with other musicians. You play a little, and you look at them, and then I come back, look at them, look at the drummer, see what they're doing, whatever, right? Interact with the audience. If you're playing in a restaurant with the clientele, whatever it is, be very fluid with it. So this myth that you can never look at the keys is just a myth. Don't let it hold you back, but see what principle is involved and how that concept can help you and not hinder you. So there we go, piano myth busting number 1. Many more to go. Please leave comments, questions, talk about myths, whatever. Let's get some discussion going so we can all learn from it. Thanks for being here. And remember, the most important thing always is to enjoy the journey and let the music flow.